Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Sarah of Horror, and here on my channel I review movies, TV shows, and anything I find interesting to talk about. So if that is your thing, make sure to subscribe. But yes, welcome to today's episode. And as promised, I will be talking about the latest season of Black Mirror. I am a Black Mirror fan. I like a lot of the episodes. I think they are fun, and I do love that they focus on technology and kind of put a dark twist on our use of technology and what it can eventually lead to. And they take it to an extreme way. But that is what I like, because I never know what to expect when watching a Black Mirror episode. Like, literally anything can happen, and it does happen. So I do know going into watching a new season of Black Mirror and watching episodes that it usually doesn't end well. So I'm already prepared. But yeah, let's talk about the new season. So the new season contains of 6 episodes. So yeah, let's start with the first one. It's called Common People. It's directed by Ali Pankiv. It's starring Chris O'Dowd, Rashida Jones, Tracy Ellis Ross. So we have this couple, Mike and Amanda. They have been celebrating their anniversary, and we see that Amanda works as a teacher, and Mike works as what is it called? Is it like a welding thing or a steel mill or something like that? I don't know everything about that job, but hard labor, physical labor, in that kind of place. And suddenly Amanda, she is put into a life-threatening situation, and the only solution to kind of keep her alive is for her to be signed up to this new program called Rivermind, but it does come with some consequences. So right away, we get to know Mike and Amanda. We get to know that they are celebrating their anniversary. They always go to the same place called Junipero. And Junipero, it kind of comes back to my favorite episode of all of the Black Mirror seasons, San Junipero. So I like that they kind of come back to the name Junipero a lot throughout the season. But like right away, I do really like both Chris O'Dowd and Rashida Jones. And I do think they have like a wonderful chemistry in this episode. It kind of gets darker and darker in a twisted way. And I was very gripped and moved by this episode, and I think it is a very good one. But it also kind of struggles with the things that is happening in society right now, with the inflation. Everything is getting more expensive. Food, just living, just like breathing, just being a human being on this planet is getting more and more expensive. And that is also part of this episode. Once you think that, okay, now we're stabilized, we can afford this, something new happens, and then they are like, okay, now we have to pay this much instead, just to be able to live. Okay, and then something else happens. So it is very frustrating for the couple, for us as viewers, because we kind of understand getting used to paying these high prices for almost exactly the same things, and when they were cheaper before, and everything is just going to get more pricey. It's also pushing the limits on how much we can take, how much more we have to work, how much more money we have to generate, and just keeps pushing us and pushing us until we will break, until that point. And I've been watching a lot of YouTubers here that kind of talk about the economy side of life. So economy YouTubers, commentary YouTubers that are speaking about a lot of different videos and about our society, about the inflation, about just different economical situations that people are in. So I'm very interested in that. So that is also, I think, this episode really drew me in, because Mikey has to ultimately do more and more and more just for his wife to live. I got very into this episode. I got very into the couple, and yeah, I thought it was a good start to open this season. What do I give this one? I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. So an 8 out of 10 to this one. You know, it's a strong start, so let's keep going. Episode 2, it's called Bête Noir, directed by Toby Haynes, starring Sienna Kelly, Rosie McEwen, and Michael Workai. So in this one, I have this girl, Maria. She comes up with new flavors for like desserts or chocolates or stuff like that. And then at her company, they have like testing groups coming in, trying to taste test and seeing their reaction before they release the products. And one day, her old friend from high school, I think, Verity, comes in and applies for a job there and gets it. But it seems that Maria is the only one noticing that Verity is being very strange in a very weird way. Yeah, so right away, we kind of get to know Maria, that she is kind of a genius at combining different flavors that maybe shouldn't go together but do go together, and then presenting them, hopefully releasing them. And yeah, I was drawn in to her character. I'm also a big foodie, love food and dessert, of course, and chocolate and things like that. So yeah, I too love movies and TV shows that kind of focus on that. So I was very interested in like what way this would go. Like, how will technology play into this one? This is also a very frustrating episode because this episode is just gaslighting. It's just such a gaslighting episode, and if you've seen it, you know exactly what I mean. So yeah, it was very frustrating to watch that. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it in a kind of good way, because it made me feel things, it made me think, it made me just want to go, ah! It was a bit repetitive in some instances, because I kind of figured out, okay, so then she will say this, and then this thing will happen, basically. But I do like how we are like introduced to Verity's character and the kind of background story she's kind of carrying on. I find myself being very drawn between Maria and Verity. Like the chemistry that these actors had, you could just tell that something was gonna explode, something was gonna go wrong. And I did like the ending very much. And I do like the reveal of the, you know, the thing towards the end. So I think this is another good episode. But I wasn't as emotionally like involved as I think in the first one. The first one was just wow. So what do I give Bête Noir? I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. So a 7 out of 10 to Bête Noir. Still a good episode, good follow-up, like totally different environment from the first one, but just not as emotionally impactful, for me at least. Okay, let's move on to number 3. So number 3 is Hotel Reverie, directed by Hao-Lu Wang, starring Issa Rae, Emma Corrin, and Harriet Walter and Aquafina. So we have the studio, Keyword Studios, that made this vintage British film called Hotel Reverie, and they are trying to kind of reinvent or rediscover, do something to appeal to a broader audience again, because they are not really getting offers and they don't want to close down. So then we have Aquafina, she plays Kimi, she's there with the solution. And they will have this actress, Brandy Friday, big A-lister, in this episode to kind of sign on to this program that lets her kind of step in to the actual film, but with her as the actor instead of the actor that was in the film. But she has to nail every line, she has to nail all her marks and beats to be able to come back from that world. So yeah, I know it kind of sounded a bit kind of confusing, fuzzy when I explained it, but you know, I am a big fan of the black and white movies from the 40s, 50s, 60s. So when I just saw the Hotel Reverie logo, the music, it took me back to and I was younger, I used to watch all of those kinds of movies. It's been a while now, but I do want to get back into it. I want to rewatch some of my favorites, like Double Indemnity. So good. That's for another episode. So I was just instantly put into this very cozy mood. And I do believe this one was a bit longer. I think this is the longest of the three I've mentioned so far. But I honestly don't think it was a hindrance or it was a problem at all that it felt a bit longer. I think the story is just so intriguing that I was just loving it. And I do loved Aquafina on this one. I think she played her character kind of really well. Okay, this is a character she does a lot and she portrays it really well. But I do like how they just mixed with the going back in the past via a very modern technology. And I think the both actresses did a really good job, but Emma Corrin was just amazing in this one. Like, she really felt like an actress from back in the day. And yeah, it was fun to watch. And just the storyline was so good. Everything just drew me in. But it wasn't as emotional as the first one. But I still really like this one. So, what do I give this one? I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. So an 8 out of 10 to this one, and yeah, the first 3 episodes are really strong in my opinion. So let's move on to number 4. Okay, number 4, Plaything, is directed by David Slade, starring Peter Capaldi, Lewis Gribben, James Nelson Joyce, and Michelle Austin. So in this one, we have this man that is being arrested for attempting to steal like a bottle of liquor or something from a little convenience store, liquor store. And then suddenly he is being connected to a murder from the past that involved a game from 1990, like an actual kind of computer game. So I was intrigued because it starts right away with this man like being arrested on purpose, kind of, it felt like. And I wanted to know more about the backstory. And then we kind of move back and forth a lot in this episode. So, you know, the time editing is very important to nail. And I think they did it pretty well. It wasn't confusing at all. And so, as I said, we get to know this guy who gets introduced to this computer game, kind of revolutionary computer game that wants to do something different, and he kind of gets totally immersed in the game, just very obsessed. And it is kind of a cute little game, kind of cute pixelated game. We are on this roller coaster of his madness and insanity with this game. And I do think that all the background story and his connection to the game is really well done. The cinematography is really good. The sound, very, very good. Because I think the sound is very important in this film. And if you've seen the episode, I think you would agree with me. And I do love the interrogation scenes as well when we move back to the present. Because the present is kind of a futuristic look of London, basically. So we do have the past and we have like the future and that meets up in the present, so to speak, which is very interesting. And I think I like this episode the longer it went on. So I think it gets just stronger and stronger. And like when I'm thinking about it now, I do like it more. It has grown on me, for sure. But I would have liked to see how it would have continued from what happened just at the end. Like, I do want a continuation of this one. I'd love to see how the world looks after that. What do I give episode 4? I'm giving it 7 out of 10. Yeah, so 7 out of 10 for this one. Also another enjoyable episode in my opinion. But let's move on to episode 5. Okay, so episode 5, Eulogy. It's directed by Christopher Barrett and Luke Taylor. It's starring Paul Giamatti, Patsy Farron. And in this one, we get to know Philip. And he has just been informed the death of a friend. And he gets the opportunity to like do a eulogy, and he gets this guide that kind of guides him back into photographs. So he chooses a photograph, and this guide literally takes him inside a photograph, inside the memories, to see what was going on. And that kind of triggers some unexpected emotions. So right away, I kind of knew that this was going to be a little bit heavy, considering the topic they were introduced to like in the first 2 minutes of him losing this person he knew. And because I was like, okay, so we're probably gonna get to know this and the backstory to this. And the more we got to know about certain things, like the more everything just kind of like it was a bit different than I thought it was going to be, but it was very emotional. And I do like the way they were playing with his photos, and we wanted to see stuff, but we couldn't really see it. Like we were so close to seeing this person. Somehow in most photos it just didn't happen, and I kind of like the feeling that this episode was kind of playing with us. Like you might get to see this now, but maybe not. So yeah, this emotional journey we are on with Philip, it really moved me. And we get to see a lot of many different stories about him and this person from when he was younger. And yeah, then there's just this one scene that was very touching, very moving, when he finds this special something that he's trying to pick up, but he can't. And I thought that was just so cleverly done. So yeah, this was another moving episode. So I think this one and the first one are the two most moving episodes, like in an emotional way for me. And I do like the story a lot. And I think both of the main characters did a very good job. So, what do I give Eulogy? I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, so I mean, 7s and 8s, pretty strong grades for me. And I'm not just saying it because to say it. I generally like the episode, some more than others. But yeah, let's move on to number 6, the last episode. Okay, so episode 6 is the USS Callister Into Infinity, directed by Toby Haynes, starring Christine Milioti, Jimmy Simpson, Billy Magnuson, Ossie Ikikil, and Milanka Brooks. Yes, so this is kind of a continuation of the last USS. So in this one, Robert Daly is dead, but the crew is kind of stuck in the universe trying to survive and fighting 30 million other players in their world. And I think, yeah, this one is the longest of them all. And honestly, I just thought that this one was a bit too long. I think they could have shortened it with probably like a good 20 minutes. I think they could have just crossed off some of the early scenes and like started us off right in the middle of the story, of the core of the story. I think that would have been much more interesting. But you know, the theme is fun. We are in space. Christine Milioti, always amazing. So it's always fun to see her, but I just think the story is not as strong as the other episodes are. And this is so much different also from the other episodes, of course. But I do think making it that long was a bit of a mistake in my opinion. So I do unfortunately think that this one is the weakest of the season. It's still a fun episode, but it doesn't really move me that much. And I wasn't like overly enjoyed. Like, wow, this was so fun, such a fun ride. But it was still an okay episode. And you know, the whole Star Trek theme is of course very fun to reference. So I do appreciate that. And I love, you know, topics about space, movies, TV shows that are centered in the outer space, and we get to know like different quirky characters. So I do like that, but I just don't think this was as strong as the other episodes. But the actors are really good. And as I said, I think from the middle point of this film was much better than the first half. So the second half, last half was much better and much more interesting, and I wish that they had like kind of started from that point, honestly, and skipped a lot of the other scenes like with the credits and things like that. Just focused on kind of Robert Daly from the beginning. That would have been much better pacing in the editing, at least for me. And if you don't agree, that that's fine. That's fine. Of course, I understand that these episodes have gained a lot of fans because of the outer space, Star Trek references and stuff like that. So I understand completely, but I just don't think this is as strong as the other episodes. But yeah, I cannot understand why this was the final episode of the season. It's still kind of it's a good like way to round off the season with something that is not as heavy or as maybe emotionally impactful like, let's say, the first one was. So yeah, it's a good round off episode. So what do I give the very last episode of Black Mirror season 7? I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. So 6 out of 10, still an okay episode. Of course, there were still some highlights, as I mentioned. But yeah, overall, I did like this season of Black Mirror. I'm mostly positive to most seasons of Black Mirror. And I do like the concept, as I mentioned earlier. So I'm really looking forward to if there will be a season 8. The wait between seasons is long. It's very long. So yeah, hopefully we won't have to wait as long for the next one, if there will be a next one, of course, which I'm hoping for. But yeah, of course, let me know what you thought about the new season, which was your favorite episode, which was your least favorite episode, and also maybe your favorite Black Mirror episode overall. If you had to choose from every season, let me know your absolute favorite Black Mirror episode. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and of course, if you liked today's video, give me a like, comment something for the algorithm, maybe a cell phone or something for the technology. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye!